So, salam alaikum, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're all doing well. How's the family? So, I want to make a video to summarize everything that we've done, and perhaps we can take a inch and also learn a new thing. So, what we have before us is a grid, and is going to help us to solidify what we've earlier discussed. So you can think of this as a grid, and what we have on the top here, that is from, let me say, from left here to right here, is called our, that's from here like this, or maybe like this, is called our width. Okay, how wide the canvas is. So this is our canvas on which we are going to draw, or we can also call it our x-axis. Okay, so these are x-axis. I'm writing with mouse, so it can be very difficult. Okay, so that is left and right. Left to right is our horizontal, and that is our width, how wide our canvas is. And when we say from the top down to the bottom here, we have we have uh, we have here our height. Okay, so these are our height, or we call it our y-axis. So we need to get to understand that. So now we understand our height is top to bottom, which is also refers to the y-axis of our grid. Then when it's left to right, then it is called the width, and it is also known as the x-axis. So we know that now. We know x-axis is the horizontal, that is left to right. Then top to bottom is our height, which is also y-axis. That is the vertical. Okay. Now, let's now see how we can pick a point on the grid or on our canvas, because it's very, very important. So now we also need to understand that when you have a grid like this, you need to know what is the dimension. Like what I have drawn here, I am starting the grid is 600 by 400. Okay, so 600 by 400. So what we mean by that? So it's 600 wide. That is, if you look at it, is like a rectangle. So we have the width is much larger than the height, but that's not really what we meant. What we want to demonstrate, the most important thing is that the dimension of this is 600 by 400. We can also have 400 by 400, which means that we have equal height, equal width, and equal height. But now the most important thing is, how do you take readings on it? But before we know how to take readings to it, we need to know the increasing direction of each of these axes. If you start with your x-axis, which we said is that with the x-axis is increasing from left to the right. So that means 0 on the left and 600 on the right. So it's increasing like this. So not the other way around. The same applies to the height. The height is also increasing from the top to the bottom, not the other way around. So which means that the top is going to be 0, then down here. So if 0 is here, so down to 400, depending on the dimension, okay? So 0, then the intervals, okay? So in this case now, I have like how many boxes here? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 boxes. So 12 boxes gives me 600 pixel. So that means each box is 50 pixel. So how do I know that? So if I multiply 50 by 12, so I'm going to get 600. So that is it. So anyways, it doesn't have to be 50 bucks. I can imagine I have like half of this box. So I'm going to have like 24. Let's say the box is something like this, something like this. So I'm sorry, the it's not very straight, but we are going to have 24 boxes. So 24 boxes is going to make, so all we just need to do is just say 600 divided by 24. So that will be 25. So each box will be 25, something like that. Okay, but that's not really what we want. So the point we want to make is, the point we want to make here is that now we know that the width or the x-axis is increasing towards the right and the height is increasing towards the bottom. Good. Now the next thing now is that, how do I take a reading on this? Let's say I want to get the width, the middle of this point. So the middle of, since we said the height, let's start with the width. The width is going to be, the half of the width is going to be somewhere here, right? Here. That is 300. So that is it. So if you want to get the middle of this, so it's going to be here, half of the height also. So the midpoint is here. You get that? So that means this is the midpoint, this point here. So how about this point here? What's the reading here? So this reading here is 300, 300, 200. So how about this point? What's the reading here? So if we trace it from the x-axis, this is 50, 50, that is 100. So that is, on the x-axis is 100. We have to mention the width first. That is the x-axis first. So this is 100. Then what is it on the horizontal? I mean on the vertical here. So this is 50, 50, 50. That is 50, 100, 150. Okay. So if we count in 50 here, so this is 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. You understand now? So let's pick a point here. How about this point? This point here. So which is different here? This point. So what is the reading on the x-axis? Here. Trace it down here. So we count 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. So this is 350. How about on the y-axis? Here, here. We already have it marked. So this is 300. Okay. Now that we know this, okay? Now that we know this, what do we do? Uh-huh. So what do we do? So let me see if I can. Come here. Okay, so this is a new canvas now. So let's now go to uh, our reference point here. So let's go to references. Then I'm going to go to primitive shapes. Yeah, 2D primitive shapes. So we're going to start with cycle here. So to draw a cycle requires parameters x, y, and d. So what does x means? X is the position on the x-axis, y is the position on the y-axis, d is the diameter of the cycle. Okay, so if I want to draw a cycle that needs to be on the middle of this canvas, so that means that if I want to make the cycle to be at the middle, so that means my x will have to be what, so let's say this is 0 and this is 600. Okay, and this is also 0 and this is 400. Okay, or this time around let me even make the canvas to be uh, 400 by 400. Okay, so we can, doesn't really matter what we want, so that it's going to, I can use this. So we have our 0 here, we have 400 here on the y-axis. Then here we also have 0. Down here is also 400. So my interval is 50. So this is 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. So if I say 400 divided by 8, that will give me 50. So that is how I know each point here. So if I go to my code now and I change this maybe to 25, okay, you can see I'm going to get how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 16. So that is 16 points. So it's a 400 divided by 16 will give me. So anyways, so now the point now is that I have this. So I want to draw a cycle. But the documentation, according to the documentation, your cycle is, you are going to consider the center of the cycle as a reference point. See, your cycle requires cycle x, y, d. So my command here is going to be, can I write here? I think I have to use only pen. The command here is going to be cycle. Then my x is going to be half of this, so which is 200. So let's look for 200 here, which is this one. So I want my circle to be somewhere here. Then I also want it on the y-axis to be 200. You don't remember, if you remember, your y-axis is your top to bottom, which is somewhere here. That is somewhere here. This top to bottom here, the vertical. So I want the circle to be somewhere here. So if I take this off, okay, think I can use eraser here. So if I want the cycle to be here, let me change the color. So that will be somewhere here. Because here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 50, 100, 150, 200. So I have 200 here. And here also is the half of it. You can pause the video and see for yourself, okay? Now, what is the diameter? So what is the diameter of a cycle? So if supposing this is a cycle, how wide our cycle is called diameter, d. Okay, diameter. So how wide do I want this cycle to be? So now you can now imagine if each of my grid here is 50, so I can say, okay, since then for the reference point of a cycle by default is the center, so you have to look at it the center. So I want this cycle to extend maybe this way, this way. So that is, I want the diameter to be maybe, how many is this? 200. This 200. So if the side, if the diameter is 200, so that is 50, 50, 50, 50. That is 100. So that means this cycle is going to be somewhere like this. See? Let's check that. So we can write that in the code now. Let's see. So let's go back to our editor. You remember, so if I close this, how do I get to my editor? So I'm going to go to editor.p5.js. That is this link. Then that's how I'm going to get to my editor. Then you're going to, okay, supposing I've not logged in, so you're going to see something like this. Then you are going to log in, you're going to select your Google email, then select this, then you are in your, so that's the only way you can save your work. So I'm going to name this, sorry, I'm going to name this to be drawing a cycle. Okay, so I'm going to name it drawing a cycle. So now we go back to our references. How do I get to these references? I went to p5.js.org. Okay, p5.js.org, then I clicked on reference. So when I get to reference, I'm going to shapes. Under shapes, I'm going to cycle. Then you read the documentation, and this is the syntax. Syntax is how you write it, and each of the meaning is given here. X denotes the x coordinate of the center of the cycle. It's very important. You should know what this x represents. That is the center of your cycle. Y is the y coordinate of the center of the cycle, not the edge of the cycle, not this place, the center of this cycle. So this x here is referencing this center here. This also is referencing this center. So it's very, very important. So we are going to draw this here. So don't forget, we draw inside our draw function. So I'm going to say cycle. Then what is going to be my x? My x is 200. My y is 200. Then my width, my diameter is what? 200. So if I draw this, I'm going to have a cycle. See? So what if I want to use a variable? Okay, so I don't want to just like, what is 200, what is 200, what is 200? It's very confusing. I don't know. So what I told you we are going to do is that we're going to declare your variable at the top, and we are going to start by putting let let. I'm going to say let x. I'm not going to give it any value yet. I'm going to say let y. So I'm going to give it no value. I'm putting a semicolon here. Then I'm going to say let diameter, if I can spell. So I can add code the diameter here, because diameter, I will just say diameter is 200. Or I can equally give this also a value. So I can say value. If I know what value I want to give from onset, I can say this is 200 also. Then I can equally put 200 here. Okay, so nothing is going to happen to our cycle, at least yet. So what else we can do in place of these numbers here, then I can change this to x, I can change this to y, I can change this to diameter. And if I do that, I run this, see, I have my cycle here. I don't know how to clear this. Take this, Google something away. All right. So you see, so this is how we have used variables. So if you want to comment now, you can shift this downward and put your backslash and say variables. All right. There's another way we can do that. So that means here, I don't need to tamper on line 13. I can just like change this. Let's say I want to move this here. Now this is now where you need to guess, without necessarily going to your grid. Or we can just draw our grid by hand in your note in your scratchbook. And let me just delete all this. Okay. Erase all. So let's suppose I want to draw my son here. Something here. I want to draw something here. What will I do? So it means that you know that your cycle x and y comma d, which is the syntax, this x is referencing the center of the cycle, not the edge of the cycle, not anywhere else, but just the center. Then you need to know also that this is increasing from 0 to maybe the width that you have defined, in our case 400. So which means that the center of this cycle should be somewhere here. So you cannot think. So this is going to be somewhere around maybe 350 on my. How do I know that? So it's just for me to like, okay, let me think. What is the width of my cycle? Let's say it's 100. Okay, nice. And this is the center. And let's say I want my cycle, and this is the edge of my canvas, and this is 400, and this is the diameter. So that means my cycle is going to be somewhere like this. So it's easy for me to subtract 100, that is the center of this diameter, which is 50, because this is the whole of this is 100. So half of it is 50. If I take 50 from the edge, so I know this is 350. So you just think of, you just have to be a mathematician. So then what would be my, so this is my x. What would be my y? So if you trace this down here, so this can be 50, right? Based on my sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if I come here now, based on the plan now, I want this to be located 350. So you can see it's moving like this. So the center is somewhere here. Then I want my y to be 50. You can see it's going to move up. So you can even see how you can begin to draw some things, right? You already have an idea. Then where is the remaining part of the cycle? It's there. It's just hidden because it's outside the view of the canvas. So if I increase my canvas, I'm going to see the rest of the cycle. Let's suppose that my canvas is 600 wide. You see, I'm going to see the remaining part. So it's not that the cycle is lost, and I make this also like 700 in terms of width, in terms of wherever it was. All right, so let me leave it back at 400 by 400. So, and I reduce this to 100 as we have planned. So I'm going to find my cycle here. But I'm not very okay that my cycle is touching the center, except maybe I don't want any. So I can like, okay, can you move inward now? So how do I move it inward? So that means if this is 350, I want it to be any number before 350. So I can say, okay, can you move it to like 340 so that it doesn't touches this edge? You can see it moves inward. How about 300? So you can see it's moved further inward. But what if I want it to move down a little bit because it is touching this on the vertical? So what if I make this 60? So it's going to move, you see? So this is the essence of defining your variable. You can play with your numbers here. So now I think the gap here is too much. So what if I want to move it inward again? This is now horizontal. So I can increase my x-axis to maybe 340. No, no, no. Yeah. So now you see, and that's the fun of it. Very simple, right? So what if I want to give this a color? So I'm going to define a background before the color, right? So that means I need to give this. So there's something we call fill. So we are going to search for fill here. Fill. So search for fill. See, we have fill, we have no fill. So let's look for fill. So here we can fill with this color. We know already what we can use. Maybe we want to color with RGBA, or we want to just use the name of the color. Okay, if you are using a single, that is a grayscale. If you want the if you want to use RGB values, that is a mixture of red, green, and blue. Okay, or you want to use HSB, or you want to use the name color, CSS named color. So it's up to you. Or you want to use the X value, so you want to use 6X value. So we have a lot of things we can do here. So what we can do is I can go to Google color picker. So just search for Google color picker. Very simple. So in our Google color picker, I can choose any color I want. Maybe I want this kind of yellow, or you can change the kind of color you want. You can change the dial here. Okay, okay, okay. Change the dial here. How wide the dial here is this. So let's say I want to check this kind of color. So I can either copy this 245, 200, 180. So I can come here, and before the shape, I'm going to write fill. So fill, I can come here and just copy this X color. These are 6-digit X color. So I can paste it here as a string. Okay. See? So we have the X color here. So as simple as that. Yes, Ahmad. Oh, yeah, bye bye. Go and watch cartoon. Or you can use the RGB color. So I can, instead of this one, because this is a number now, so I can have 245, comma. What other color is here? 218, comma 18. So see, I still have my color here. So it's up to you what kind of color you want. How about this thickness? What do we do? This is called stroke now. So now you know fill, so you need to know stroke. So let me search for stroke. So we have stroke, stroke cap, stroke join, no stroke, stroke weight. So we are going to use these two. So let's look at stroke. Stroke also takes in color. You can choose what kind of color you want. Okay, you can just say no stroke. Okay, so let's try and put stroke here. So we have our fill, then we need to have stroke. So let's put stroke of, I don't know, maybe something like this. Let me copy this color. Then I need to put it inside a string. You can see, now you see. So what if I make it the same color as this? Now I'm going to be repeating colors now. What if I then make a variable? So I can create a variable here and I can say maybe sun color. Now I'm using camel casing. We talked about camel casing the other time. So I can say sun color, then we can put this value like this. But this is not okay because I have to say sun color red, sun color sun color sun color sun color RGB green, sun color RGB underscore B. So then we need to put light here. So this is what we can do. So in advanced programming, we can do single line assignments. So this is what we can do. We can select, this is going to be 200. Then put left here. Then don't forget, you have to remove this comma here. Put semicolon at the back. It's very important. And any small error like this. So these are some color red, some color green, some color blue, RGB. Okay. So in place of all this, I'm going to have some color, paste this again, paste this again. So I'm going to change this to, okay, this is good as red, this is good as G, and this is good as blue. Okay, you see? So I'm going to replace this with this. I'm not quite okay with this like this. So what if I just have just some color? Let some color. So that is why I like the this one. So I'm going to pick this one. Okay. We have the sun, take this, then I just copy this. So I don't have to have RGB, I just make this a string. All right. So instead of just this sun color red, sun color, I'll just put this. Okay. Awesome. So that's how we draw our sun. It's as simple as that. So what if we want to draw that shapes? Okay, so we are done with drawing a cycle. Okay, so we are going to come here and save our work. Okay, so now let's draw another shape here. So I'm going to say new here, file new. I'm going to rename this random generated name to drawing square. Okay, so we have drawing square now. So what do we do here? So let's go back to our documentation. Let me try and erase all. Unlike cycle, when we have our cycle the other time, we reference the center of the cycle. So when we define our x, we are referring to the center of the cycle. When we define our y, we are referring to the center of the cycle. But when we are drawing a square, okay, and that applied for rectangle as. So we are referencing this top corner here. So this corner. So let me make this another color, maybe green. So this is our reference. This is our reference. So if I define the x and the y, Okay, I am defining this corner here. That's what I'm doing, not the center of the square. How do I know that? Okay, so we come here, we know we go to our references or you search, then we go to square. Okay, so our square, we look at the syntax. Just go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. Our syntax, say x coordinate, y coordinate, s is the side size of the square. Then these are optional. The radius, that is if you want to, you want to give it some radius, So this is top left radius, top right radius, bottom right radius, bottom left radius. We can do that later. So let's try and draw the cycle. So we said x coordinate of the square, y coordinate of the square, side coordinate of the square. So let's go back to this canvas. Where are we? So if I want to draw a square and I want the size of the square, because this is S. Now let me close this. This is the side size of the square. So how wide do you want the square to be? Side square. Okay. So let's us make the, sorry, I think I mistakenly opened this. Okay. So here we have. So let's suppose that I want to take this square at the center. Don't forget that this is going to be the center, which is 200. I meant to write 200, and this is also the center, which is 200. So that means our center is somewhere here. So if we want to draw our cycle, our square is going to be somewhere like this. Not this to be the center. All right, so let's say we want to write this 1, 2, 3. That is 50, so that is 150. So the syntax is going to be square, then our x coordinate is 200, our y coordinate is also 200, and the size is 150. These are pixels, right? So let's look at that. Let's come here. Let's go to our editor. We have renamed this to drawing square. Then we'll put it down after the background. Then we write square. Then we have 200 by 200. Then 150. Let's see. Let's see. See? I told you. Down, right? Move down. So exactly what I said. So if we can make it controllable, so I can make this let x is equals to, I don't know, x is equals to, what should we give it? 200. Y, let y is equals to 200, and let size is equals to 50. So I put my semicolon here, put semicolon here, semicolon here. So in place of this, I'm going to put x here, I'm going to put y here, and I'm going to put size there. Good. See? So if I want to change this color now, so let's come here and let's put this maroon color. So I want to put this color, I'm going to use this X color. I think I like this color. So I'm going to define my color here. So I can say let square color equals to, I wrap this in a string. I'm not wrapping this as a string here, but I'm wrapping this as a string because this is not numeric, okay? So I can come here and use fill. Remember, right? Say fill. So I have this. So what if I don't want this black something here? I don't want it. So I'm going to say no fill. I think it's something like this. See? No fill. Oh, no, 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 no. No fill means no color. So transparent, right? So I don't want no fill. I don't know what I did. I meant to write no stroke. No stroke. Okay. So you can see it's gone. Just instead of me to say stroke, then I put the same color. It's gone. And if we actually want stroke, we are going to say stroke and we are going to specify the color of the stroke. So let's make this color of the stroke brown. Okay, so I'm going to like make this brown. See, I hardly can see it. So there's something we call stroke weight also. So we can say 20. See, it's quite big, right? So you can begin to think. Now, let's suppose that I want to move this here. Now, what do I do? You can pause the video, think, think, think. So I understand that on the y-axis is increasing from top to bottom. And now my y-axis is 200. What if I make, and this is my edge, this one here is controlling, not the center. So I want this edge to be here. What if I make it 0? What's going to happen? See, because I make it 0, it flushed it to the top. But I want it to move to this left. And I'm already at 200. You can see this is the half. You can see half of this. If you trace it down, I'm on the half here. So I want it to flush here. So what if I also make it 0? See, flush down. But because I have my fill to be 20, maybe I make it like 10 pixel, then I'm going to like add this one to be 10 also. See, or maybe I push it forward 20. See, I push it downward by 20 as well. See, now I have this. What if I reduce this size to maybe 50? See, so can I draw another cycle? So let's say I want to draw my other other square, and I want the square to be somewhere here, maybe here. So what do I do? So I'm going to write, I'm going to draw this square. So now they are superimposed because the location is the same. So but I want this square to be, this is 20, right? So I want it to be like 40. This is 20. 20 plus the size, which is 50. That is 70, right? Because this is 20, right? And this is 50. So I want it to be somewhere here. So I need to be, the size is 50 plus 20, that is 70 plus maybe 100. So you just think. So what if I had plus 100 to my x-axis? You can see? Just think. So what if I create another square? Okay, sorry. This can come here. It doesn't really matter, the order. So what if I create another square here and you begin to see the pattern here? So it's superimposed because they are on the same. What if I had 200 here? See? So you can see what I'm just doing essentially is I am controlling this point here. I'm controlling this point here. That's what I'm doing. All right, so that's bring us to the end of drawing a square. So I'm going to save this and I want us to do two more shapes. So the other shapes is drawing an ellipse, which is easy, right? Okay, let me draw another shape that is going to, square now that we are going to use all of this. Okay, So I'm going to have another shape here. So this time around, I'm going to hard code it. So I want the shape, this square here, to be at maybe let me look at my grid here. Let me to be somewhere here. So let's see. Here will be 250, right? So I want it to be 250, and here will be what? So if it's 250, 250 is somewhere here, and here will be what? Let's count here. This 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 also. All right, so let's say 250. And let's say the size is 300. I don't know. Oh, that's too big. So let's say it's 100. Okay. So let's say we don't want it to, we don't, I want to change the color. So I want the color to be this color, fill. So I'm going to say fill. I'm going to put this so it's green now. Then I don't want any stroke. So I'm going to say no stroke. Okay, no stroke. So you can see why is it controlling that? Because it's controlling because I am putting this preset color before the drawing of the. So this is going to override the previous color that we've set. All right. So now I want this to have this notch, to have some radius here. So and that is what this syntax is telling us. Top left. This is my top left. This is my top left. This is my top right. So I'm going to make the top right to be 10. And you're going to see that you can see now it has notch. So if you put 10, it's going to control all of them to have this radius. All. So but if I want to change it, that is I want this to have a particular radius that is different from the rest of the radius, then you have to put 4 values. So if I make this one to be 20, see, then I make this one to be 5, see. So this is 20 and every other one is 5. So what if I want the bottom color to be 50? See, can you see that? So this is 20, this is 5, then every other thing is 50. So what do I want this one to be 20? So I'm drawing a weird shape now, see? Right? So this is it. We have top left, top right, bottom left. So this is top left, top right, bottom left. So this is 50, it's 20, this is 20, and this is 5. What if I want what I have here to be here? That means the first one, which is top left, I'm going to make it to be 50, and I'm going to make these ones to be. I'm going to have another shape. So you can see that you can really draw a lot of things here. Okay, you can make a lot of drawing here. Lot. Okay, let's see. Now we know how to draw a shape, how to control the radius, how to place something on the canvas. Now let's create a new canvas. So this is a new canvas. I'm going to rename this now to ellipse. Okay, drawing ellipse. Okay, drawing ellipse. Okay, so we draw ellipse now. So let's go to our documentation. Okay, you can click on references, and I'm going to draw an ellipse. Okay, so an ellipse is a round shape defined by x, y. We already know what x, y is, right? Then the width and the height. So it's not like cycle that we just have x, y, and diameter. So we can control what the width will be, what the height will be. We can make it the same, we can make it different, right? So what we're going to do now is we can look at the syntax. So we have the X, we have the Y, we have the width, we have the height. So they are saying the height is optional. That is what it means. So if I just put width, it's going to use the same for the height. That is what it means. So we say the height of the ellipse, the width of the ellipse, the x coordinate of the center of the ellipse. So now this is the center. The x is controlling the center, not like the square that I'm controlling the edge now. So let's see. Let's see how we can do that. So let's rub all this. So let's suppose I want to draw an egg. An egg is something like this. So it's an oval, right? So I cannot use cycle because I cannot control the width and the height. So let's say these are cycle. I mean, these are our egg now. I want to have an egg. So what do I do? So I need to, where do I want to place this egg on my canvas? And so now I'm referencing the center of the egg. Okay, so the center here. So let's say I want to place my egg at the center. We always start with the simplest one, right? So I want my egg to be somewhere like this, something like this. So this is the center. So that is 200. Then on the y-axis is going to be 200. So how many blocks do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 1, 2, 3.5. So that means going to be like 175 width, maybe 175. Then what about the height? 1, 2. So height is going to be 100. So my command is going to be ellipse. Then x-axis is 200. Y-axis is going to be 200 as well. So it's going to be at the center. Then W is going to be 175. And the height is going to be 100. Okay, let's try that. Let's see. Go to our editor. We'll put that under here. We're going to have our ellipse. So we have 200 by 200 by 175. These are just guess values, right? So run it by clicking on this. See? Cool. So what's the color of an egg? Okay, let's give this color is fine. So we'll come here, press down, select egg color. Now I'm using American spelling here. Okay. I don't know what color is this, but it's cool, right? That is not a color of an egg, right? So we're going to put a fill here. I'm going to put this here. See? So I can say no fill. No, sorry, no stroke. No stroke. No stroke. Spelling is important. See? Simple as that. Oh, so now I'm no longer liking this color. So let's copy this. Let's change it here. Delete this. Put it here. We have this. We have our egg. So what if I want to reduce the size of my width? So what do I do? So I can just create my let W is equals to 175. Okay. So nothing is going to happen. Then let height is equals to 100. Obviously nothing is going to happen. Let x is equals to 200. And let's do something here. Okay. Let y is equals to y. So I'm not going to give x any value. I'm not going to give y any value. So I'm going to just come here inside my setup function, not inside my draw function. Inside my setup function, I'm going to say x is equals to the width of the canvas. We didn't define width anywhere. So, but p5.js is going to know that the width is 400 or whatever we have set here. So I'm going to just divide it by 2. Okay. And the y is going to be also the height. So what is going to be the height? The height is going to be height here, which is 400. I'm going to divide by 2. So I'm going to come here and put x. I'm going to put y. I'm going to put w here. I'm going to put h here. See? Everything works fine. Perfect. If I want to print the value of x and y, okay, or I want to print the width here, I'm going to say print. I'm going to put the, sorry, I'm going to print. I don't know what I did here. Print width. Okay. You're going to see 400. Can you see that? 400. I say print the height. Say 400. So it's a value here. So if you have spelled it wrongly, you are going to see maybe print IT. There is nothing like IT here. See, say IT is not defined. So just for you to be aware. Okay, so what if I want to reduce the width to be maybe half of this? So I can also do the same. Then the height is also half of this. Okay, I don't need to crack my head. So what if I want to place it here? So I'm going to say, so the width is 400. What if I subtract 400 by the width? That is 400 minus 400. It's going to be 0. But so what if I say 400 minus 350? What's going to happen? See? So that means I shifted it by 50 because this is 400 minus 350. That means the center will be 50. See? So what if I do the same thing here? Height divided by 350. So it moves down. What if I move it up? So maybe I say 370. So how about that? Goes up again. What do I want to push it here? So I'm going to reduce this number to maybe 300. Okay. So I'm just playing with numbers here. So that's how we can do this. So that's drawing an ellipse. And I can draw more ellipse, right? You already know the drills. So I can create more ellipse and have more ellipse here. And I can give it maybe plus 100. Is going to push it 100. That is the x value that is going to add whatever the center of this is going to add 100 to it. So it's going to move it forward. If I want to move it downward also, maybe I'll create another ellipse here. If I add maybe 200 to what I currently have, you see. So you already understand this now. Okay, good. So this is nice. This is nice. So we know how to draw ellipse. We know how to do this. If you have any question now, I'm going to give further instruction how to do this. So let's draw the last one, which is not the last one. So go to references. So your one of your assignment is for you to try all these other ones. To read the documentation, see who is that? What do you want? So let's look at line. How do you draw a line? So a line default width is 1 pixel. That is the thickness. The version of line with 4 parameters draw the line in 2 dimensions. To color a line, you use stroke. To change its width, you use stroke width. A line can't be filled, so the line function fill won't change or affect the line's color. The version line with 6 parameter allows the line to be drawn in 3D shapes. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what each of those lines are. Okay, so let's suppose that I want to draw a line. Hmm. So we have how many parameters? So we are not going to use this zx parameter. So we have x1, x2, x1, y2, x2, y2. So number the x coordinate of the first point, y coordinate of the second point, uh, x2, x coordinate of the second point, y coordinate of the second point. All right, so let's see that. Let's rub this off now. Let's suppose that I want to draw, okay, like my name is Side, right? So let's say I want to write S now. So like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. It's like 5, right? Or at least let's see. So let's suppose I want to draw that here. So we have this line, we have this line, we have this line, we have this line, we have this line. Okay, so let's see. How do I draw this line like this? So the first thing I'm going to do, according to the documentation, is I need to get this point. Then I need to get this point. So when I say I need to get this point, I need to get the x and y coordinate of this point. And I also need to get the x and y coordinate of this point. So if we look at this on our canvas now, this is going to be 50, 100, 150. That is here. This is 150. How about this point? This 100, right? That is 50, 50, 100. So now I know this point. How about this point? It's also 100. It's a straight line. How about this point? So this is, if this is 150, this is 200, which is a half, and this is 250. So if this is 250, this point here is also 250. If this is 150, so this point here is also 150. How about this point? If this is 100, this is 150, this 200, 250, it's 300. This is 300, so does this is 300. How about this point? If this is 100, this is 150, then this is 200, that is half. So if this is 200, this is also 200, right? Okay, awesome. So we have almost our point here. So we can grab all our point here. So let's draw this first horizontal line. So we are going to make this, so this is going to be 150, 100. So I have 150, I have my x, and this point here is 100 here. So I'm going to have line here. Then what about the ending here? This 250, 100. 250, comma 100. Oh, how do we memorize this so that we can put this in our code? Okay, so we head back to our p5.js. So we create a new, so make sure I save. I'm going to have new here. I'm going to say, where is it? Okay, so I'm going to change this to drawing. So I'm going to come here now. I'll say line. So we need to split this screen, right? Okay. So I need best fit. Okay, okay. So I have 150, 100, 250, 100. Okay, so let's run this. So we have this line. Awesome, right? If I want to change this color, let's say I want to change it to this something like orange. According to the documentation, I'm going to use stroke. Okay, so I'm going to use stroke, and so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to say stroke. Run this now. See, if I want to change the thickness of the line, okay, I want to change the thickness of this line. I can just put this thickness here and say stroke width. I'm going to make it like 10 because the default is 1. Okay, quite big. Okay, so we're done with the first line. So let's do with this line here. So we have the same thing we have here, 150 by 100. But here is 200 by 200 here. So we come here. So I'm going to just copy and paste this. I have 150 by 150 because the starting point is the same. This point here, the starting point is the same. 150 by 150, 150 by 100. But it extends down to 200 to 200. Okay, so this is 200 to 200. Okay, oh, so something is wrong. Oh, no, 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 no. This is, it extends down to 150. This is still 150 to 200. My bad. This is 150 to 200. That is, this is still 150. This is still on the same line, not like this. This 150 to 200. See? Now, this is 150, 200. This one, 150, 200. But it extends down to 250, 250. Okay? So let's copy this. Let me just write it. Line, this is 150, 200, then 250, 250. How? Where's 250? This 150 here, 200 on the y, that is your x1, y1. Then it's go here, which is 250, and sorry, 250, 200 here. The same line here. So I want to make another mistake here. Let's run that. See? Awesome. Now, this is 250, 200, and it goes down. This point here is 250, 200, and it goes down to, on the x-axis is still 250, now 300. Okay, so let's see that. So, so we have line is 250, 200, then it goes down to 250, same line to 300. Okay, let's see. This point is 250. This is 200. Okay, and it goes down still on 250. On x2 is still 250, but now it's 300. See, now this is this point. Now this is where we are now. This is 250, 300. Then it goes down to 150. So we have to put negative because if we put positive, it's going to, all right, let's see. Let's see what we're going to do. We don't have to. So this is 250, 300. And our x2 is still 250 because I'm still on 250. Then it goes down to this point here. This is 150, okay? 150. So let's see that. So this is line 250. Red x is still at 250. Now back to 150. So let's see. See? So something is wrong. Okay, my x is 150. So I think I make a mistake. This is the point I'm trying to map. So this is 250 on the x, 300 on the y, correct? Now this is still 300, but now the x-axis is 150. My bad. So this is 150. I interchange it. This is x now. This is 150. And I'm at 300. Still on 300 here. See? This 300. This is 150. So awesome. See that? So this is something you can also do. All right. So what I want you to do now, down here. So what I want you to do now is to, so now you stop now. What I want you to do now is as an assignment now. So I'm going to clear all this. I'm going to clear all this now. So what I want you to do now is I want you to draw a heart. I want you to draw a heart. Something like this. Something like this. Something like this. Okay. Or let me make it like this. So this is like half of this. Yeah. This. This. Good. So draw something like this. So this is not here now. This is square now. Now. Or maybe a rectangle, what have you. It's up to you. So we have something like this. This is a straight line, by the way. So here now you're going to have a door now, but the door is not just a door, it's a door with a that has this radius, and the door has this handle here. This is a cycle now, or an ellipse here. So it has a window here. So it has a window here. Okay, now this is what I want you to draw for me. This is your assignment now. So this is your assignment now. So I want you to draw this for me. Using all what I've taught you now, I want you to draw this for me. Then I want you to place some chicken egg here, you know. So we have some chicken egg here, or maybe a raindrop or something. Put some over shape. So this is going to be a teamwork, right? Okay. So I believe in you. So I believe you can do this. So later on, we are going to see how we can make it interactive. If I press something, something is going to happen, things like that. Okay. So this is your assignment. I want you to do this. Not an assignment, it's a classwork, it's a group work. So you have to do it together. All right. So see you later.